the video, Karlie Red. You're up. I never did nothing but good to you, bitch.
Why are we Black women attacking each other? We all need to support each other.
Just get the cameras off for me. Come and keep on telling them to turn off the camera.
Oh, that is horrible.
Wait. No, you, Karlie, I'ma tell you. You're an evil witch.
The reason Spice went off on Karlie Red like that, because Karlie Red like to do behind people's back. She like to antagonize you and provoke you, and then when you go the off, she likes to play the victim. She's good at hiding her hand. That's Karlie Red.
Atlanta is on fire after reports leaked that Spice and Karlie Red got into a full-blown fight backstage, all because Karlie allegedly called Spice stinky during a heated argument. Witnesses say the moment the insult left Karlie's mouth, Spice's entire demeanor changed. She dropped her mic, stepped forward, and before security could even blink, she launched herself at Karlie with pure Jamaican fury. Wigs shifted, chairs scraped, people screamed, and production ran like they were dodging flying bullets. They say Spice grabbed Karlie so fast that even Karlie's eyelashes didn't have time to react. The room erupted into chaos, makeup kits flying, cameras shaking, producers begging, and Bambi yelling in the background, "Not again, Karlie!" Meanwhile, Spice was going off, shouting, "Don't play with me, gal. Don't ever disrespect my name." And Karlie? She was backpedaling like her life depended on it. Now social media is torn. Some say Spice was justified. Others say Karlie was being Karlie, meaning messy, dramatic, and desperate for attention. Either way, the claws are out, the shade is deadly, and the footage, if it ever drops, will be the most chaotic thing Love and Hip Hop has ever delivered. Long before the explosive backstage fight that sent the entire Love and Hip Hop fandom into a frenzy, the tension between Spice and Karlie Red had been simmering like a pot left too long on high heat, bubbling with years of jealousy, betrayal, shade, and unspoken grudges that everybody felt but nobody dared to confront head-on. Their friendship had always been a roller coaster, loud, flashy, chaotic, dramatic in the most TV-worthy way. But underneath the laughs and fake hugs, there was a deep, low-key rivalry that kept them circling each other like two gorgeous pit bulls waiting for the right moment to snap. Spice, fierce and unapologetically real, had clawed her way from Kingston to global fame with sheer grit, talent, and a voice powerful enough to quake stadiums. Karlie, on the other hand, had survived in the franchise through charm, manipulation, strategic alliances, and just the right amount of messy energy to keep her name in everybody's mouth for over a decade. They were friends until they weren't, and when they weren't, the tension could light a city block on fire. Over the years, Spice and Karlie's bond had been cracked by the smallest things. Secrets spilled, business deals gone left, lies told in confessionals, shady comments wrapped in love, and jealousy that both women pretended didn't exist. Karlie was always threatened by anyone who took the spotlight from her, and Spice, she was the spotlight. Fans noticed the shift when Spice's career skyrocketed globally. Awards, tours, sold-out shows, while Karlie's storyline centered more on drama than success. Karlie masked her envy with backhanded compliments, the kind that looked sweet on camera but cut deep when the lights went off. Spice never said it publicly, but off camera she told several castmates that Karlie was too fake, too desperate, and always stirring mess behind women's backs. Karlie, meanwhile, ran around telling people that Spice had changed, gotten too Hollywood, become too bossy, too full of herself. And every season, the producers pushed them back together because the chemistry, friendly or not, was explosive. Behind the scenes, though, the emotional history grew darker. Spice felt Karlie used her name to stay relevant. Karlie felt Spice abandoned her as soon as she leveled up. There were disagreements over music features that never happened, club appearances that fell apart, money issues, men who played both sides, friends who fueled tension. Episodes aired where Karlie would cry about feeling betrayed, and Spice would roll her eyes because she knew Karlie was performing for sympathy. The cracks widened, and each season, the shade grew colder, sharper, more personal. Even fans could tell. The smiles didn't reach their eyes anymore. Then there was the big collapse during Spice's near-death health scare when she was hospitalized overseas. Karlie was one of the first to run to social media with prayers, but Spice later hinted Karlie made it about herself, turning the tragedy into a storyline instead of privately checking on her. Karlie was offended, Spice was disgusted, and whatever thin trust remained shattered for good. By the time filming for the new season started, the two women were walking around like ticking time bombs. Castmates whispered that it wasn't a matter of if they'd explode, but when. Everyone noticed how cold Spice's energy was whenever Karlie entered the room, how Karlie avoided Spice unless cameras were rolling, how fans caught Karlie liking shady comments about Spice's hygiene, comments Spice never forgot, and then, the final straw, a backstage conversation that started with shade and ended with the word that detonated everything. The insult Karlie never should have said, because Spice didn't play with disrespect, not about her artistry, not about her culture, and definitely not about her hygiene. Yes, Karlie had been gossiping behind Spice's back for weeks, complaining she smelled weird after long rehearsals, whispering to producers that Spice needed more deodorant, even joking during glam that Spice had a strong scent. It was petty, hateful, juvenile, and Spice heard every single word through the grapevine. She didn't react at first. She tried to keep it cute, calm, and professional because she had too much to lose. But every time Karlie laughed a little too loud around her, every time she made a snarky remark disguised as a joke, every time producers pressured them to film together, Spice bottled that anger deeper and deeper until it became a volcano under her skin. And when the reunion rehearsals rolled around, the two women were backstage in close quarters. Too close. Spice was exhausted from performing. Karlie was buzzing with fake energy for the cameras. A misunderstanding over seating turned into a whisper. The whisper turned into shade. The shade turned into a smirk, and then Karlie, rolling her eyes dramatically, mumbled the insult under her breath, loud enough so Spice would hear, but quiet enough for Karlie to deny it later. Ugh, Spice is so stinky. Spice stopped mid-step, mid-breath, mid-thought. It was the moment 20 seasons of tension collided into one spark. She turned around slowly, eyes locked on Karlie with a glare that warned, begged, and promised violence all at once. Because after years of shade, betrayal, and jealousy, this was the insult that crossed the line. And Karlie, she didn't stand a chance. The moment the word stinky dropped from Karlie's mouth, the entire backstage area froze like somebody pressed pause on reality. Spice stopped in her tracks so abruptly that even the camera crew gasped. Her shoulders lifted slightly, her head turned an inch, and the air around her shifted into something dark, sharp, and dangerous, the kind of energy that makes grown men step back without being told. Karlie immediately realized she had said the wrong thing, at the wrong time, to the wrong woman. But by then, it was too late. Spice pivoted slowly, like a villain in the final act of a movie. Her eyes locked on Karlie with a heat so intense, it felt physical. "What you just say?" she asked, her voice low, deadly, thick with Jamaican warning. Karlie froze, her mouth opening and closing as producers hovered nervously around her. I didn't say anything," Karlie stuttered, trying to save herself. But Spice wasn't stupid, and she wasn't about to let it slide. "Say it again," she growled, stepping forward with the confidence of a woman who had been holding back years of anger. "Go on, say it out loud so everybody can hear." Karlie backed up so quickly she nearly tripped over a lighting case, her eyes wide as Spice advanced like a storm ready to consume her. The room erupted into chaos, castmates shouting, security stepping in, glam teams scattering like confetti in the wind. But Spice pushed past all of them like they were made of paper. Bambi, Sierra, and Shekinah stood off to the side like spectators at the world's deadliest boxing match. And then it happened in a split-second burst. Spice lunged, grabbing Karlie by the front of her top with such force that Karlie's wig slid half off her scalp. Karlie screamed, her voice cracking as she clawed at Spice's wrists. But Spice was fully locked in. Chairs scraped, tables overturned. Spice was shouting in raw patois. Karlie was yelling for security. Producers were shouting over each other. And then Spice's hand connected with Karlie's face. A slap so loud it echoed off the concrete walls like a gunshot. But the real twist wasn't the slap. It was Karlie's reaction. She didn't just fight back. She broke. Not physically, but emotionally. Her entire facade. The glam, the confidence, the messy energy she always used to control a room, shattered in an instant. She collapsed to the floor, sobbing, trembling, acting nothing like the Karlie Red the world knew. Everyone froze again, not because they felt sorry for her, but because her breakdown came out of nowhere, like she'd been holding in a secret too heavy for her to carry. Spice stepped back, staring at her in confusion as Karlie choked out, "You don't understand. You don't know what I've been dealing with." The room went silent. Spice's anger wavered for a second, not because she forgave her, but because she was caught off guard. "What could possibly make you say that?" Spice demanded, still breathing hard, fists clenched. Karlie wiped her tears aggressively, smearing her makeup, looking less like a villain and more like a woman at the end of her rope. "I wasn't talking about you," Karlie sobbed, voice shaking. "I wasn't calling you Stinky. I was talking about the bag." Confusion swept across the room like a ripple. Spice blinked. "Bag?" Karlie nodded frantically, pointing toward the corner. Spice, still fuming, followed her gaze and spotted it. A duffel bag lying open, overflowing with clothes and shoes from rehearsal. A foul odor radiated from it, unmistakable and strong. Karlie sobbed harder. "I've been trying to tell y'all. Somebody put something nasty in my stuff." Suddenly, the room wasn't just chaotic. It was suspicious. Shekinah squinted, stepping toward the bag. "What the? Is that a dead rat?" The entire backstage shrieked as Shekinah pulled back a shoe to reveal a small, stiff, foul-smelling rodent stuffed inside Karlie's belongings. Spice recoiled instantly, turning her head away with disgust. "Lord have mercy!" Sierra gagged. Bambi covered her face. Security cursed under their breath. Karlie was sobbing uncontrollably now, her hands shaking as she clutched her chest. "I've been smelling it for days," she cried. "I thought it was me. I thought something was wrong with me." And that's when the first shocking twist dropped. Karlie wasn't insulting Spice. She was spiraling because she thought her own body was the source of the smell. Someone had tampered with her belongings. Someone had planted that rat. Someone wanted her humiliated. Spice's anger deflated slightly, replaced with confusion and a flicker of concern she tried to hide. "Karlie," she muttered, her voice no longer aggressive but unsure. "Who would do that to you?" Karlie's crying intensified. "I don't know. But they've been messing with me all week. Hair products swapped out, makeup ruined, costumes missing." The room went quiet again. Not shade quiet, tension quiet. Someone backstage was targeting Karlie, intentionally, methodically, and they had pushed her so far mentally that she lashed out at the wrong person, at Spice, causing the fight of the century. But Karlie wasn't done. Through her tears, she whispered a sentence that made chills run through everyone in the room. "And I think I know who's doing it, but I'm scared to say." Spice's eyes widened. Bambi gasped. Sierra whispered, "Oh, Lord." And just as Karlie opened her mouth to reveal the name, the lights in the entire backstage hallway flickered, then went out. The second those backstage lights flickered and cut to black, the energy in the room shifted from messy reality TV drama to full-blown horror movie tension, the kind that makes every grown adult freeze and listen like danger is breathing right behind them. Karlie's last whispered sentence, "I think I know who's doing it," hung in the darkness like a curse as the entire production area fell silent except for the distant hum of generators somewhere deep in the building. Spice instinctively stepped toward the sound of Karlie's trembling voice, her usual aggression slipping into something more protective as everyone around her held their breath. Security barked orders. Producers frantically tried calling techs. Castmates clung to each other. For a full 10 seconds, nothing existed but darkness and fear. Then a single emergency light flicked on overhead, casting an eerie, blue-tinted glow across the floor, revealing Karlie curled on the ground with her arms wrapped around herself, Spice hovering over her like she didn't know whether to comfort her or interrogate her, and Bambi standing frozen with her hand over her mouth like she was watching the beginning of something that would change everything. Sierra whispered, "This ain't normal. Someone messing with us for real." And suddenly everyone felt it. This wasn't just Karlie being dramatic or Spice losing her temper. Someone had set them all up. Before anyone could fully process what was happening, a producer rushed in with a walkie-talkie pressed to his ear, panic written across his face. "The power outage isn't citywide," he shouted. "It's only backstage. Someone hit the breaker manually." The entire cast snapped their heads toward him. Manually? Meaning someone physically walked into the restricted electrical room and shut off the power? Meaning someone was here, inside the building, watching them, playing with them. Spice clenched her jaw, stepping protectively in front of Karlie. "Tell us who you think it is," she demanded firmly. Karlie shook her head violently, tears streaming down her cheeks, her breathing uneven. I can't," she stuttered. "If I say it, it'll get worse." The fear in her voice was real, a raw, shaky panic nobody had ever seen from Karlie Redd, queen of theatrics and queen of confidence. Spice crouched down to her level, lowering her voice. "Karlie, someone planted a dead rat in yo bag. That is war. Say the name." Karlie squeezed her eyes shut, trembling harder. "It's someone on the cast," she whispered. "Someone who wants me gone." Before she could say more, the emergency light flickered again, and a loud crash echoed down the hallway. Everyone jerked toward the sound. Heavy footsteps thudded toward them, slow, intentional, like somebody wanted them to hear every step. Bambi grabbed Sierra's arm. Shekinah screamed and dove behind a makeup chair. Spice positioned herself like she was ready to swing on whoever came around the corner. Security moved fast, charging down the hall, but as they reached the end, the footsteps stopped. Silence. Then a door slammed. When security burst through the door, there was nobody there, just a piece of paper on the floor, a paper with Karlie's name on it. Bambi gasped. Sierra backed away. Spice snatched the paper before anyone else could and unfolded it cautiously, ready for anything. The note inside was handwritten, messy, jagged like someone was writing fast and angry. It read, "You think Spice hitting you was bad? You haven't even felt the beginning." Underneath the sentence was a single symbol, a small drawn rose with thorns dripping tiny dots of ink. Karlie's face went pale, bone pale. She whispered, "It's her, it's her." And Spice grabbed her shoulders. "Who?" Karlie's voice trembled as she choked out, "It's Tommy Lee." The room exploded with reactions. Sierra gasped so hard, she choked. Bambi stepped back like someone had swung at her. Shekinah shrieked, "Not Tommy, Lord!" A producer cursed under his breath. Because if Tommy Lee was involved, this wasn't petty sabotage. This was war. Tommy was known for two things, chaos and payback. The kind of payback that didn't involve shade or social media. The kind that came with real consequences. Karlie sobbed harder, clinging to Spice like her legs would give out. "She told me last year I was on her list," Karlie cried. "I thought she was joking. She said I ruined something for her. I didn't even know what she meant." Spice's eyes narrowed, fury simmering in the blue emergency light. "So she plant dead animals in you bag, turn off power, write threat notes." Karlie nodded, shaking. "She said she was gonna embarrass me slowly. And now she's here." But Spice wasn't fully convinced. She paced the room, her mind racing, replaying every interaction she'd had with Tommy over the years. Tommy was chaotic, yes, but sneaky, calculating, silent. That didn't match. Tommy was a storm that hit loud, fast, and destructive, not a shadow creeping through hallways. Something about this felt wrong, too planned, too organized, too theatrical. "I now believe is Tommy alone," Spice muttered. "This too much planning, too much mind game. Tommy would have just bust through the door and swing." Karlie's lips quivered as she whispered, "She's not alone. She's working with someone." That sentence sent a fresh wave of dread through the room. Before Spice could question her further, another producer ran in, breathless. "We checked the cameras," he said. "You're gonna want to see this." He held out his phone, a security clip queued up. Everyone crowded around, the room thick with anticipation. The footage showed a figure walking through the backstage hallway moments before the lights went out. Hoodie up, head down, face not visible. But the height, the build, the walk, everyone recognized it instantly. Bambi gasped. Erica wasn't even present, but her name flew across the room like a slap. "It looks like Jock." Spice's jaw dropped. Sierra covered her mouth. Shekinah screamed again. Because young Jock? Why would Jock sabotage Karlie? Why would he be creeping around backstage, cutting power, planting rats, dropping cryptic notes? Why would Jock, of all people, drag himself into a war between Spice and Karlie? Spice shook her head aggressively. "Jock, that don't make sense. Him and Karlie messy, but not sabotage messy." But the footage didn't lie. The figure walked exactly like him. Karlie stared at the screen, tears drying on her cheeks, her face a mix of heartbreak and fury. "He told me last month he was tired of everyone calling me messy, said I ruined his reputation, said I needed to be humbled." Sierra whispered, "Karlie, are you saying Jock teamed up with Tommy?" Karlie nodded slowly. Spice's eyes widened in horror. Because suddenly, this wasn't petty shade. It was a takedown. And the worst part? Someone else was helping them in the shadows. The second Karlie whispered that young Jock might be working with Tommy, the entire room erupted like a grenade went off. Spice's eyes were huge. Bambi stumbled backward like the floor had shifted, and Sierra kept whispering, "Lord Jesus, not Jock, not Jock," like a prayer for sanity in a world built on mess. Producers scrambled to regain control, but it was too late. The suspicion was out. The flames were lit. and Jock had just been transformed from a castmate to a possible villain. Before anyone could strategize, a commotion erupted outside the door. Heavy footsteps, raised voices. Then Jock himself stormed in with his arms raised like he was walking into a courtroom trial he didn't agree to attend. Aye, what's all this? I'm hearing about me, he shouted, looking around at the chaos with disbelief. Spice stepped forward first, her voice sharp and ready for blood. Don't play dumb, Jock. Your face dey pon the camera cutting off light like you is saboteur. Jock threw his head back. What camera? Show me the footage then. A producer held up the clip. Jock squinted at the hooded figure and immediately lost every ounce of bravado. Oh, hell no. Y'all not doing this to me. Y'all not doing this to me. But the more he denied it, the more suspicious everyone became, especially Karlie, who glared at him with the pain of 10 years' worth of heartbreak packed into a single stare. You said you wanted to humble me, she whispered. Jock blinked. When did I? Karlie, come on. Last month, she snapped, her voice cracking. You said I made you look stupid for years, and you were tired of everyone laughing at you because of me. Jock opened his mouth, closed it, then pointed at Karlie dramatically. That wasn't a threat. I was talking about self-growth, internal healing, spiritual maturity. Bambi snorted. Sierra face-palmed. Shekinah screamed into a makeup brush. The chaos was suffocating, but before anyone could argue more, the hallway lights flickered again, and a slow, mocking clap echoed from the back entrance. Every head snapped in that direction. And then she walked in. Tommy Lee, dressed in all black, dripping confidence and chaos like perfume, she entered the room with the energy of a villain whose theme music should have been playing in the background. Well, she purred. Look at all y'all acting like Scooby-Doo characters trying to solve a mystery. Karlie nearly fainted. Spice tensed like a guard dog. Bambi muttered, Nope, I'm too old for this, and took a step back. Tommy casually leaned against the wall, amused. Y'all really think I planted a dead rat in Karlie's bag? She asked, raising a perfectly arched brow. Please, if I wanted to embarrass somebody, I'd do it to their face, not behind no boxes. Spice took a step toward her. So you're denying your involvement? Tommy rolled her eyes. I'm denying the sneaky stuff. I ain't no coward. Karlie sputtered. Then why is your symbol on the note? The rose? Tommy laughed, loud, unbothered, almost sinister. Baby, that ain't my symbol. That's his. Silence fell like a blanket. Who is his? Sierra whispered. Tommy's smile disappeared. Y'all really ain't figured it out yet. She looked around the room like she was disappointed in all of them. Y'all looking at the wrong people. Jock ain't smart enough. Shannon ain't brave enough. And Karlie ain't important enough for all this. Karlie gasped, offended. Tommy ignored her. This ain't about no threesome, no rat, no hygiene insults. This is about power. Somebody is playing chess while y'all are out here throwing wigs and screaming. Before Tommy could reveal more, Jock suddenly stiffened and pointed to the emergency light. A shadow moved behind it, then vanished. Everyone froze again. Heavy footsteps echoed in the hallway. Then a voice, low, cold, male, slipped through the darkness like poison. You wanted answers. Here they are. Security ran toward the voice, but it was too late. The man stepped into the doorway, and the entire room gasped at once. It was Mina's ex-husband, Safari. Spice staggered back. Bambi's jaw dropped. Karlie covered her mouth. Jock whispered, Oh, hell no, not this man. Safari stood there calmly, eyes scanning the room like a puppeteer, admiring his tangled marionettes. Y'all really thought I was done with this show? he asked quietly. You really thought you could humiliate me for a whole season and walk away? Spice narrowed her eyes. So you sabotaged Karlie? Safari tilted his head. She deserved it. She ruined my name. She mocked me on camera. She plotted with Erica against me. Karlie screamed, You put a dead rat in my bag? Safari shrugged. I didn't put it there, but I made sure it got there. Sierra yelled, Why? Safari stepped deeper into the room. Because the truth is, this wasn't about Karlie. This wasn't about Spice. This wasn't even about the footage. This was about the one person who tried to destroy me publicly. Spice tensed. Bambi swallowed nervously. Jock stepped back. Safari smirked as he finally revealed the truth. This was all a setup to get revenge on Erica Mena. Everyone stared in shock because Erica wasn't even in the building. Erica ruined my life, Safari continued. So I planned something that would ruin her circle, her friends, her alliances, her peace. Spice's voice trembled with rage. You dragged all of us into you revenge? Safari nodded proudly. And we're just getting started. And then he dropped the real bomb. Erica is already on her way, and when she gets here, the real truth comes out. The door behind him opened. Footsteps approached, and Erica Mena stepped inside the room with her eyes blazing. The second Erica Mena walked into that dim, tension-soaked backstage room, the air snapped like a bolt of electricity, and everyone instinctively stepped back as if they could physically feel the storm she carried on her skin. Her eyes were blazing, her jaw locked, her aura so intense that even security hesitated before approaching, because this wasn't the Erica who cries in confessionals or argues through tears. This was the Erica who shows up when she has nothing to lose and everything to expose. Safari smirked when he saw her, proud of the disaster he had orchestrated, but Erica didn't even look at him at first. Her gaze scanned the room, the overturned chairs, Spice standing protectively near Karlie, Bambi trembling in confusion, Jock sweating bullets, Tommy lurking in the back like a silent assassin. And she realized in one terrifying instant just how far Safari had gone to destroy her world. You really dragged all these people into our mess? Erica finally snapped, her voice slicing the silence like a blade. Safari shrugged like it was nothing. They're collateral damage. You started this. Karlie, shaking on the floor, wiped her face and croaked, Started what? Erica ignored her and stepped closer to Safari, fury radiating off her. I left you. I moved on. I raised my kids. I built myself back up. And this is what you do? This is your revenge? Safari tilted his head. This is accountability. Spice lunged forward, pointing a finger an inch from his face. Ya is sick. Ya need help. You almost mash up Karlie's career. You traumatize everybody with your foolishness. And for what? Safari looked unbothered. Oh, please, Karlie been ruining her own career. Karlie burst into tears again as Sierra rushed to her side, holding her shoulders. Then something unexpected happened. Bambi, who had spent most of the chaos in shock, stepped between Erica and Safari with tears in her eyes. This ain't just a game, she said shakily. This ain't no storyline, Safari. You planted animals, sabotaged sets, turned off power, sent threats. You could have hurt somebody. Safari scoffed. I did hurt somebody. Her, pointing at Erica. And she needed it. Erica lunged like she was ready to drag him across the floor, but Tommy grabbed her waist from behind, whispering, Not yet, not yet. The whole room went completely silent at the sight. Tommy Lee holding Erica Mena back like a referee between two wildfires. Spice's eyes widened. Look ya now, if Spice and Tommy agreed on something, you know you cross every line. Safari rolled his eyes. Y'all dramatic. Nobody died. And that sentence, that dismissive shrug, broke Karlie completely. She screamed through tears. I thought it was me. Her voice cracked so brutally, the entire cast went still. I thought something was wrong with me. I thought I smelled. She sobbed harder, chest shaking. I was scared to be close to people, scared to hug anyone, scared to sit in glam. Spice knelt next to her, her tough exterior softening for the first time. Karlie, nobody deserved that, not even ya. Karlie collapsed into Spice's arms, and the internet would have exploded if the cameras had caught that moment. Two longtime frenemies suddenly connected through pain and vulnerability in a way no storyline had ever achieved. But Safari wasn't done. Y'all acting like Karlie is innocent, he scoffed. She played a part in ruining my marriage. Karlie's head jerked up. What part? Safari smirked. You told Erica something she wasn't supposed to know. You told her things that broke us, and now you're crying because karma finally spun back around. Erica's eyes narrowed, looking at Karlie with confusion. What did you tell me? Karlie, what did you ever say that? But before she could finish the question, Karlie's face turned ghost white. Her lips trembled. Spice leaned closer. Karlie, talk? Karlie swallowed hard. I knew something about Safari, about his affair. And I told Erica. I didn't mean to. I was drunk, but I told her. Erica blinked. Affair with Ho? Karlie's face twisted, tears streaming down her cheeks. With someone on the cast. The room erupted again, everyone talking over each other, accusations flying like bullets. Bambi covered her mouth. Sierra whispered, No way. Tommy narrowed her eyes like she already knew. Jock looked like he wanted to die. Spice silenced everyone with one loud shout. Stop! Then turned to Karlie. Who? Karlie looked around the room, terrified. If I say it, she'll kill me. Erica stepped forward slowly. Karlie, who did Safari cheat with? Karlie looked down, shook her head, then forced herself to speak. It was LHH royalty, someone he thought would never expose him. Silence deepened. Every cast member held their breath, and Karlie finally whispered the name. It was Mimi. The entire room broke into gasps, so loud the walls shook. Erica staggered back. Spice's jaw dropped. Tommy muttered, Hell nah. Safari smirked. Now you see why I did all this? Erica screamed. You cheated on me with Mimi? Karlie sobbed. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to tell you. I slipped. And in that moment, the true fallout cracked open. This wasn't just Karlie versus Spice, not just Safari versus Erica. This was a betrayal that ran deeper through the cast than anyone dared imagine. The moment Karlie whispered, it was Mimi, the entire backstage froze like someone had ripped the oxygen out of the room. Erica's face drained of all color, her breath catching in her throat as she stared ahead in disbelief, unable to comprehend the words that had just been spoken. Mimi? Calm, collected, drama-resistant Mimi? The one woman everyone thought was above the mess? Spice staggered backward, gripping a chair to steady herself. Bambi gasped so loudly it echoed. Sierra kept repeating, No, 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 Mimi would never. But deep down, everyone knew Mimi was human, and nobody on Love and Hip Hop was truly safe from their own desires. Erica's voice finally cracked through the silence, sharp, broken, furious. You slept with Mimi? Safari crossed his arms and smirked like the devil himself. She didn't say no. Erica lunged, but Spice and Tommy grabbed her just in time, their combined strength barely enough to hold her back. "Let me go," she screamed. "Let me go. Spice." Safari backed up with a mocking grin, loving every second of the chaos he created. "This is what happens when y'all play with me," he said proudly. "This is what happens when you embarrass me on television. I hit back harder." Karlie hid her face, trembling all over, knowing she had just lit the biggest bomb the franchise had ever seen. Jock looked like he wanted to run out of the building. Tommy muttered, "This whole cast needs baptism." But the emotional fallout wasn't done, because suddenly the backstage door opened and in walked Mimi Faust. The room went silent, heart-stoppingly silent. Mimi didn't look confused. She didn't look scared. She didn't even look guilty. She walked in calm, composed, like she already knew everything that was said. Her eyes met Erica's, then shifted to Safari, and the tension between them could have sliced the air open. "You really think he's telling the whole truth?" Mimi said quietly, stepping forward. Safari scoffed. "Don't act like you weren't there, Mimi." But Mimi didn't flinch. Instead, she reached into her purse, pulled out her phone, and held up a screenshot so damning the entire cast gasped in unison. It wasn't messages between her and Safari. It was messages between Karlie and Safari, planning to set Mimi up, staging fake screenshots, and coordinating a lie to make Mimi look like a homewrecker. Karlie's knees buckled. Spice covered her mouth in pure shock. "Karlie," Mimi said calmly, "you think I didn't know about this?" Then she turned to Safari. "And you used me as bait. But guess what?" Mimi stepped closer, her voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. "I wasn't the only woman you cheated with, and the other woman is standing in this room." The cast screamed. Bambi backed up. Sierra dropped her makeup palette. Tommy whispered, "Lord, who is it?" Safari's face finally shifted from smug to panicked. "Mimi, don't." Mimi ignored him. She scanned the room slowly, letting the tension swell like a drumbeat. Then she said the name that shattered the entire set. It was Bambi. The room erupted. Erica screamed. Spice yelled, "What?" Sierra fainted into Shekinah's arms. Karlie burst into hysterical sobs. Bambi stood frozen in place like her spirit left her body. Safari grabbed his head in his hands, realizing his last secret was gone. Mimi stepped back with a cold smile. Now the real truth is out. Bambi finally found her voice, shaking, devastated, almost whispering. "I didn't mean it was before the marriage. I thought it didn't matter." Safari barked, "Stop lying." And that's when Erica snapped. She ripped out of Spice's grip and charged forward, not at Bambi, not at Karlie, but at Safari, screaming, "You ruined all of us." Security tackled her mid-charge as Mimi shouted for calm, but the damage was done, the truth was out, and the chaos wasn't finished, because just as Safari tried to defend himself, the overhead lights flickered, the backstage doors slammed, and a voice echoed from the hallway. "This ain't over. Y'all forgot about me." Everyone turned slowly, terrified, as a shadow stepped into view. It was Joseline Hernandez, smirking like the devil ready to collect souls. And now, with Joseline Hernandez stepping out of the shadows like the final boss of Love and Hip Hop chaos, every single storyline you thought you understood has just been flipped upside down, shaken, shattered, and lit on fire. What does she have to do with Safari's revenge plan? Why did Mimi expose Karlie and Bambi in one breath? How deep does Karlie's sabotage really go? And Bambi, how long has she been hiding the truth about her past with Safari? This isn't just drama anymore. This is war, and every cast member is suddenly fighting for their reputation, their relationships, and their sanity. So now the real question becomes, who is telling the truth? who is lying, who is playing who, and who is about to get exposed next. If Mimi wasn't the one Safari truly wanted revenge on, then why drag her into it? If Bambi wasn't part of the plan, then why did she look so guilty? And with Jocelyn back, whose secrets is she carrying? Whose receipts is she holding? And what unfinished business is she ready to settle? Was this all Safari's doing? Or has there been a second mastermind pulling strings behind the scenes this entire time? You tell me. Drop your theories in the comments because this scandal has more layers than an onion soaked in gasoline and thrown into a fire pit. Like this video if your jaw is still on the floor, share it with someone who loves messy reality TV, and make sure you subscribe because part 2 is going to be even wilder. The fights will get dirtier, the betrayals will get darker, and the truth is only just beginning to crawl its way out of the shadows. Stay tuned. The next explosion is coming.